I want to show you this clip of this Jamaican woman who's been having some problems with the Black American customers in her business. And when we watch the video, she's going to tell you how she has customers from different parts of the world, Africans, Asians, Europeans, etc. But the ones that are giving her the most problems are the Black Americans. So here we go.
African people stay here, I have Jamaican people stay here, I have white people stay here, I have Spanish people stay here, and I have Black Americans stay here. I'm not saying not all Black Americans are bad, but the ones that came to my place have been nothing but problem. Only 2 good ones came here, all of them. Fight late at night, not with me, with each other. They're disrespectful, they're entitled, they're unappreciative. And it is that way because America has spoiled them and give them so much free shit. But they think they could come to Jamaica and get the same free shit out here and be nasty about it. I'm not saying all of you are like that. But because of that, I'm not risking my health and my happiness for people. No short-term stay. No short-term stay. It's not going to happen here. I'd rather eat salt and banana and let goats and cows live into my houses than I have people come here and stress me. I will not hate my business because of customers. A lot of business people are miserable because of some kind of customer. Not this place. I don't want, my place is drama-free. I don't want any ghetto Black Americans here. No ghetto entitled, spoiled Black Americans that America has spoiled. I don't want them here. Will not change that. Okay? And I'm not going to change the verbiage. I'm saying exactly what I feel. I was a landlord in America for 10 years. Let me tell you, I've had tenants that their rent was $12 because Section 8 paid the rest of it for them. You're like, I don't get any free shit. What free shit you're talking about? I don't get no free shit. You got a lot of free shit. Those are the people I don't want here. $12 a rent, you'll pay. You have Benz, you drive, you wear $400 a wig, name brand shoes, your kids wear name brand shoes, and you work minimum hours so you don't lose your Section 8. You got food stamps, you buy lobster, steak, and God knows what everything is. And people that work in 3 jobs, can't afford the food, they could buy us on government assistance. I don't want you ass here because I work very hard for everything I have. So I don't want no entitled, spoiled, and grateful Black Americans here. If you work, respectful, I'm even open to offer short-term stay for the right people. One thing I learned about the ghetto people too, they have a way of hiding who they are. Because they've been cheating the system so long that they pretend to be something else to get money off the government. And so that's what you do. You call me, you pretend to be somebody else, and when you come here, you show your real true colors. There's none of that here. If you come here, you ghetto, you gotta leave. Period. I don't care about your money.
So this is interesting because it shows another example of cultural differences and why it's important to understand that culture is the key. Not the skin color, like the idea that many people have bought into, but culture. And so she doesn't want ghetto Black Americans at her establishment. And this is not because of their skin color, but it's because of the customs that they bring over there with them. Now, from here, what I want you to do is I want you to listen to the commentary from a gentleman who is a Nigerian American. And his channel name is Corporate Junkie. And the channel shines a lot of light on the way that Nigerian Americans may perceive themselves as distinct from other Black Americans when they come here. And for good reason, too. And so I want you to check out that channel. But right now, let's see what he's talking about in his commentary on this video.
Man, she was really laying that one out there. And you kind of see her heart and see the frustration she has encountering Black Americans, the ones that go there to Jamaica and act out. And it essentially, she's echoing what a lot of people are saying and have experienced when it comes to Black Americans. It doesn't matter if it's in this country. It doesn't matter if it's in Jamaica. It doesn't matter if it's in Africa. We're starting to see a lot of people just express their frustration. Now, you heard her say that she's had African people stay there. She's had white people stay there. She's had Spanish people stay at her place of business. And she's never had any problems with any of these groups except Black Americans. That's real stuff. She owns a rental property, like a vacation property rental business. And she's just like, I've had it. I don't want you here. Don't come. I don't need your business, because she's had it. You know, you have these types of situation where you have the types of Black Americans that go to these places with this entitlement. You heard her say, she says they come with this entitlement because in America, the government has spoiled them with welfare, with food stamps. And so they go to other places expecting that type of, entitlement. They want to be catered to. And if they don't get what they have been used to getting because the government has so much entitled them with social programs and all of that, they become very belligerent. They become very rude. They trash your place. And she's making a public announcement. I don't want your business here. I don't want you here. I can feel that lady's heart. I understand where she's coming from because she's a business owner. I mean, who wants someone that comes to the establishment and causes problem and is a very difficult person? Who wants that? Who wants that? Especially when you have a variety of customers that come to your establishment and you don't get that type of behavior from everyone else. Africans go there to her place of business in Jamaica. They stay. They respect themselves. And they leave when they're done. No problems. White people go there. Same thing. Spanish people go there. Same thing. So she's not anti-black because she's clearly a black woman who caters to black people in different race. But she's just saying, this particular group, I don't want you here. You're too much headache. You're too much problems. Take your entitlement somewhere else. I don't want your business. That is a bold statement. That is a bold statement. And that is exactly the same thing we're seeing in many places now, like in certain African countries. They're starting to kick Black Americans out of those countries because of the same thing that she talked about. Tanzania. Ethiopia. We're seeing it also in Kenya. They're starting to kick them out. Because I will tell you, if you have a behavioral issue, and you have a behavioral problem, you don't matter what part of the world you go to, you're going to be found out. You're going to take your behavior to other places and people are going to find out eventually who you are. And they're going to see that you are the problem, not the world. And so this group would like to say everyone is a problem. This group likes to, I'm talking about Black Americans now. They like to say that everybody is the issue. This group has it in for everyone. I don't know. Maybe you guys can tell me. Please help me understand. Tell me which one group Black American is known to love. Please tell me. Because from what I see from the rhetoric and from the behavior from this group, it seems like this group has it in for everyone. So let's count it. They don't like white people. They don't like Africans. They don't like Caribbeans and Jamaicans. They don't like Asians. They don't like Hispanics. They don't like other African Americans. So please help me understand out of this group. Did I miss one?
And that's true. And on top of that, none of those groups like them either as a whole, right? If we're just going to be honest with it, most of them, they're trying to avoid them, right? And it's not because of a skin color thing at all, right? This is not the 1920s and the 1930s, 40s, and 50s, right? We don't live in that era where skin color was a more valid blame. But today what we're seeing are the effects of a culture and a mindset that developed during slavery and has continued to develop and has reached a level of maturity in its physically free descendants, right? And people who don't share that same culture and that same mentality, they typically want to get away from them, right? And that's most people, including those who still identify themselves as Black Americans, but don't share those same values and customs. And so I recommend those people to stop identifying as Black Americans, or you're going to continuously get lumped in with those ghetto ones, and you're going to constantly be battling, trying to defend yourself and saying, we're not like that, right? We're not like them, right? You're going to keep doing that over and over. And it's way more of them than it is of you.
Did I get this? Did I get that wrong? That Black Americans have it in for everyone. They don't like anyone. And I think it's important that if you're Black or you're from Africa, you need to find a way to differentiate yourself. Like for me, I'll tell you that a long time ago, I made the decision to keep my accent because I needed to differentiate myself from what I saw society's perception. You're going to have to do it. You're going to have to do it because there are people like these groups that are embarrassing the Black race. They're embarrassing the Black. Let them be isolated in their own corner. They don't want to be part of the African, heritage and the African group. Fine. Don't try to emulate their ways and their lifestyle. I'm talking to you Africans now. Some of you like to go over there, places and like to talk like you're a Black American. You like to hold up the hands and you're like, hey, what's up? You're only fooling yourself. Because people are going to perceive you a certain way because there's too much of that group that have gone around and embarrassed themselves. And so when you go to an establishment like where you go with like this Jamaican lady, you can't fault her for having a perception because she's seen too much of that type of mannerism and that type of behavior come through her doors, and they've ended up becoming exactly the perception. So you're gonna have to find a way to differentiate yourself. Like for me, I kept my accent, so my accent is a differentiator.
Now this is serious right here. What he's saying, he made a decision to keep his accent so he could distinguish himself from Black Americans. And what I will say is this was a very wise decision that he made, right? Very wise, because speech is another identifying marker that can tell others about a person, right? And so when people in America, when they hear him speak, they won't lump him into their mental filing cabinets with the Black American group, right? Which is what he desires. And I think this is a very smart thing for him to do. Dress culture, right? Attire, right? This is another culturally distinguishing marker. And there's a lot more as well, right? But I completely understand what he's saying, and I know exactly what it is that he's doing because we had to do this ourselves. We had to create our own cultural differences to create a distinction within our own mind and within other people's mind. And so dress, this being one of them, and also the name, right? We don't identify ourselves as Black Americans, right? That identity has nothing to do with us at all, right? That's something that was invented by a colonist in the slave world. And so we call ourselves Earpoys, right? And we're people of the free world. And eventually we want some of you out there to join too. So let's keep going though.
When people hear me talk, they're like, okay, you look like you from Africa. You look like you're different. Or even if you don't have an accent, you might have to start using your first name, your Nigerian name. My name is, your Nigerian name. And if you're an African American who doesn't toe the line of these types of behavior, you're going to have to find a way to separate yourself, because understand that this group would like to make everyone think that all Black people, Black Americans or African Americans think like that. They would like to make it known that they're all one in this. That all African Americans think like this, African Americans behave like this, and that is simply not true. That is not true. I've been around long enough to know that is not true. There's a difference between Black Americans and African Americans. And that type of behavior that we see, entitlement, I just want to, who cares, cater to me, I am lordship, all of that nonsense, that's an Black American behavior. Those are the people that taught that whole line. That's my personal opinion. Who cares how you feel about it? So if you're one in the African American community and you don't tote that line, you're going to have to find a way to differentiate yourself.
And that's one of the main messages that we have on this channel, to separate from people who want to stay as Black people, right? And they want to keep that Black culture, because they will prevent you from climbing out of the pit because of the mindset that they have and that culture that has been developed, right? And we want to help as many people as possible who come from that background and desire to move away from it. Because what I'm telling you right now is that most of them, they have no plan on moving forward and moving away from it, right? So it's either you stay in the pit with them or you climb out of it, right? Those are the choices.
And in my opinion, the differentiator would be you coming up and say, hey, I love my peoples, I love Africans, I love Jamaicans. That is a differentiator. People will see you differently, and then you act accordingly. Otherwise, people are going to lump you in this, and you can't blame society, because people only go based off of perception. We're a perception-based environment. We live in a real world. Do you understand this? And so if I'm a business owner, or if I'm encountering a type of behavior pattern from a particular group all the time, As a human being, you're just going to perceive that the next one from that group might be that way. Doesn't necessarily mean so, but you would perceive that. Because you're a human being at the end of the day. You have something to protect, either yourself or your property. So what I'm saying to you, my 2024 advice for all of you right there is that you're going to have to find a way to differentiate yourself. Because you're dealing with people in the world, you're dealing with real human beings, you're dealing with a lot of things. And if you don't want to be perceived a certain way, make sure you find a way to differentiate yourself, whether in your name, whether in the way you talk, whether in your mannerism, you're going to find a way. You're going to have to. Otherwise, you're going to risk being lumped with these sets of people who go around, don't care about how they act in public.
Again, his channel was Corporate Junkie, and I recommend that you go and check out his channel so you can see things from a Nigerian American's perspective. And so hopefully this video has helped someone out there and has allowed you to climb just one more rung on the ladder out of the pit to get into the free world where life is much better and it makes more sense. And so I want to thank you for watching all the way into the end. My name is Brooklyn St. Michael, and I'll see you in the free world.